How's that for a warm-up?
Wow, thank you all so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can keep tipping her. It's for the Washburn House.
Okay.
If you liked it, keep tipping her.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Calling all vaginas to the
Thank you,
stage.
everybody.
I bet you were worried.
We were worried. We were worried about vaginas.
We were worried about what we think about vaginas. We were worried that we didn't think about vaginas. We were worried about our own vaginas. They needed a context, a community, a culture of other vaginas. There's so much darkness and mystery around them. It's like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody ever reports back from there.
In the first place, it turns out it's not so easy to even find your vagina. Women go weeks, months, sometimes years without looking at it. A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she was too busy. She didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, is a full day's work. You have to get down there on your back. In front of a mirror, full-length preferred, standing on its own, you have to find the perfect position with the perfect light. See, get all twisted up, and you're arching your head, and you're scaling your back. You're exhausted by then. She said she didn't have the time. She was busy.
So there were vagina interviews that became Vagina Monologues. Over 200 women were interviewed. Older women, young women, married women, lesbians, single women, college professors, artists, corporate professionals, sex workers, African American women, Asian American women, Hispanic women, Native American women, Caucasian women, and Jewish women. Whew, got through that. Okay. So at first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a bit shy, but once you got them going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Let's just take the word vagina. 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 It sounds like an infection at best. Maybe a medical instrument. Hurry, nurse, bring me the vagina. Vagina? Vagina? It doesn't sound like a word you want to say. It's a completely ridiculous word. A completely unsexy word. Use it during sex, you know, to be politically correct. Darling, will you stroke my vagina? You kill the act right there.
We were worried about vaginas. We were worried about what you call vaginas and what you don't call vaginas.
In Great Neck, they call it a pussycat. A woman from there said that her mother used to tell her, "Don't wear panties beneath your pajamas, dear. You need to air out your pussycat."
In Westchester, it's called a pookie.
In New Jersey, a twat.
There's a powder box, a poochie, a poopy, a peep, a poopaloo, a poonanny, a pal, and a peesh.
There's a toady, a niche, a dignity, monkey box.
Coochie snorcher. Scooter. Lady.
Gladys Siegelman.
There's a VA, a wee-wee, horse spot, nappy dugout.
Mongo. Mookie. A pajama. A fanny boo. And a marshmallow.
A ghoulie. Possible. Tamale. Tortita. Connie. Woo.
A Mimi in Miami.
A split knish in Philadelphia.
A Schmend in the Bronx.
Our pal Jane says that in Canada they call it the pink canoe.
Teresa's friend calls it the old lint trap.
When my daughter was younger, she used to call it a genie. I called it a vagina.
And in Kingston we call it a hurricane kitty. We were worried about vaginas.
Some of the monologues are based on one woman's story. Some of the monologues are based on several women's stories surrounding the same theme, and a few times, a good idea became an outrageous one. This monologue is based on one woman's story, although the subject came up in every interview and was often fraught. This subject being hair.
You cannot love a vagina unless you love hair. Many people do not love hair. My first and only husband hated hair. He said it looked cluttered and dirty. He made me shave my vagina. It felt puffy and exposed, like a little girl. This excited him. When I made love to my husband, my vagina felt the way a beard must feel. It felt good to rub it, and painful, like a mosquito bite. It felt like it was on fire. There were screaming red bumps. I refused to shave it again. Then, my husband had an affair. When we went to marital therapy, he said he was screwing around because I wouldn't please him sexually. I wouldn't shave my vagina. The therapist had a thick German accent and gasped between sentences to show her empathy. She asked me why I didn't want to please my husband. I said I thought it was weird. I felt little with no hair down there. The skin got irritated and couldn't help but talk in a baby voice. Even calamine lotion wouldn't help it. She said, "Marriage is un compromise." I asked her, if I shaved my vagina, would my husband stop screwing around? And I asked her if she had seen many cases like this before. She said, "Questions dilute the process." No, thanks. I had to jump in. She was sure it was a good beginning. So, when we got home, he got to shave my vagina. It was like a marital therapy bonus prize. Yeah, he clipped it a few times and there was some blood in the bathtub. But he didn't even notice it. He was just so happy shaving me. Later, when my husband was pressed up against me, I could feel his spiky sharpness sticking into me. My naked, puffy vagina. There was no protection. There was no fluff. It was then that I realized the hair is there for a reason. It's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the house. You have to love the hair in order to love the vagina. You can't just pick the parts you want. And besides, my husband, he never stopped screwing around.
your vagina got dressed, what would it wear? Glasses, a beret, silk stockings, leather jacket, mink, a pink feather boa.
A male tuxedo, jeans, something form-fitting.
Emeralds, an evening gown, sequins.
Armani only.
A tutu, see-through black underwear. A taffeta ball gown.
Something machine washable.
Costume eye mask, purple velvet pajamas, Angora, a red bow.
Ermine and pearls. A leopard hat. A silk kimono. Sweatpants. A tattoo.
An electrical shock device to keep unwanted strangers away.
High heels, lace, and combat boots. Woohoo! Purple feathers, twigs, and shells. Cotton.
A pinafore.
A bikini.
A slicker.
If your vagina could speak, what would it say? 2 words.
Slow down.
Is that you?
Feed me. I want. Yum, yum.
Oh, yeah.
Start again. No, over there. Lick me. Stay home. Brave choice.
Think again. More, please. Embrace me. Let's play.
Don't stop. More. Remember me?
Come inside. No, not yet. Whoa, mama. Yes, rock me.
Enter at your own risk.
Oh, God. Thank God. I'm here. Let's go. Find me.
Thank you. Bonjour. Too hard. Don't give up.
Where's Brian? That's better. Yeah, there.
A group of women between the ages of 65 and 75 was interviewed. These interviews were the most poignant, possibly because many of these women had never had a vagina interview before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. I know. She washed herself in the shower and the bath, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At 72, she went into therapy, as we often do in New York. And with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she was so arthritic. But when she finally found her clitoris, she said she cried. This monologue is for her. The flood.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. It's a cellar down there. Very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me, you'd get sick. It's very suffocating, nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything. Oh, smells unbearable. Gets in your clothes. No, there was no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. What's a nice young girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down there's for? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus, okay. There was this boy, Andy Leftkoff. He was cute, and I really liked him. He was tall like me. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't do this. I can't talk to you about this. I can't talk about down there. You just know that it's there. Like the cellar. You hear the pipes sometimes. There's rumbles down there. Things get caught down there, little animals and things. It gets wet. And sometimes somebody has to go and plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You don't think about it, and you don't talk about it. I mean, it's part of the house, because every house has to have a cellar, because otherwise the bedrooms would be in the basement. Oh, Andy was very good looking. He was a catch. That's what we used to call it in my day. We were out for a date in his car, and it was a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. My knees were all smushed up against the dashboard, and I was looking at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in this surprisingly take you by control like they do in the movies kind of a way. And I got excited. Very excited. And well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just flooded out of me, right through my panties, right onto the seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. Well, it wasn't pee. And it was smelly. I mean, frankly, I didn't smell anything, but Andy said, it smelled like sour milk and it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain to him that his kiss had caught me off guard, that I wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe up the flood with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Well, Andy drove me the rest of the way home without saying another word. And when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that, but the idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even came close after that. I used to have dreams, though. Crazy dreams. No, they're dopey. Why? Because Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I. Burt and I. Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was one of those huge huge restaurants like you see in Atlantic City with the chandeliers and thousands of waiters rushing around in their vests. Bert would give me an orchid corsage. I would pin it on my blazer. We'd laugh. We were always laughing, Bert and I. Laughing and laughing. We'd eat shrimp cocktail. Huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh some more. We were very happy together, Bert and I. And then suddenly, he would pull me to him right in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what the pigeons were doing under the table. And the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour and pour. And there would be fish in it and little boats in it. And the whole restaurant would fill with my flood, and Bert would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again. Horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim by in their tuxedos and evening gowns. Well, I don't have those kind of dreams anymore. Not since they took just about everything connected to down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. My doctor thought he was being funny. He said, "If you don't use it, you lose it." But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. And good riddance. It's highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows. I sell antiques. What would it wear? What kind of a question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a huge sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It hasn't been a thing that talks in a long time. It's a place. It's a place you don't go. It's closed up. It's under the house. It's down there. There. You got me to talk. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. You feel better? You know, you're the first person I actually ever told about this. And I feel a little bit better.
My vagina is a shell. A round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip with its center deep and acute, its scent delicate, and its petals gentle yet sturdy. I didn't always know this. I learned this in a vagina workshop. I learned this from a woman who teaches the vagina workshop. A woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, and who helps other women see their own vaginas by looking at other women's vaginas. session of the Vagina Workshop, the woman who ran it asked us to draw a picture of our unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. Well, one woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth, screaming with coins pouring out of it. Another woman who was skinny drew sort of a big serving platter with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a big black dot surrounded by black squigglies. The black dot was meant to be a black hole in space, and the squigglies were meant to be your general people or things or just your general atoms that got lost in there. My vagina had always existed for me on some sort of abstract plane. I kind of viewed it as an anatomical vacuum randomly sucking up particles from the random environment. I'd never really considered it in practical or biological terms. I didn't, for example, think of it as something that was attached to me. Then the woman who ran the workshop asked us to look at our vaginas using our hand mirrors. Now, up to this point in my life, I had never looked at my vagina. Everything I knew about it was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never thought to look at it. It had never occurred to me. My vagina existed on this abstract plane. It seemed awkward and reductive looking at it the way we were in this workshop on our little blue mats with our hand mirrors. It was like the early astronomers looking at space with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. It's like that first time you see a fish cut open and you see that bloody, complex world inside just under the skin. It was red and raw and fresh. And the thing that surprised me the most about it were the layers. Layers upon layers, opening into other layers. My vagina fascinated me. When it came my turn to speak in the workshop, I was speechless. I was experiencing what the woman who ran the workshop called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lie on the floor all day with my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. Ancient, full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. And it was funny. It was very funny. It made me laugh. It could play hide and seek. It could open and close. Then, the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women in the group had ever had an orgasm. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand, but I had had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because even though I'd had orgasms, I had had accidental orgasms. They had happened to me. They happened in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. They happened in the water, sometimes in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on bikes, on horseback, sometimes on the treadmill at the gym. I didn't raise my hand because even though I had had orgasms, I didn't know how to make one happen. It seemed like a magical, mystical thing. I didn't want to interfere. It seemed wrong getting involved. The surprise would be gone. It felt contrived and manipulative and Hollywood. Well, the truth of the matter is, the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I hadn't had a magical surprise orgasm in a very long time, and I was desperate. That is why I was in the Vagina Workshop. Then the moment came that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors once more and see if we could locate our clitoris. There we were, this group of women on our backs, on our mats, reaching for our spot, our locus, our reason, and I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was the sheer embarrassment of it all. Maybe it was this realization that I had to give up that fantasy, that enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something is going to do this for me. That fantasy that someone is coming to lead my life, to give direction, and to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, that I had rationalized it as something mainstream and consumerist because I was in fact terrified that I didn't have a clitoris, terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those dry, dead, frigid, broke down, apricot tasting, bitter. Oh God! I lay back with my hand mirror, looking for my spot, stretching with my fingers. And all I could think about was that time that I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in a lake. How I kept diving over and over, looking for my ring at the bottom of the lake, touching rocks and fish and slimy stuff and bottle caps, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew I was going to be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling and came over. She saw me sweating and breathing heavily, and I said to her, "It's gone, it's gone, I've lost my clitoris, I shouldn't have worn it swimming." She laughed, and she stroked my forehead gently, and she said, "Your clitoris isn't something you can lose." She said, "It's me. It's the essence of me. It's both the doorbell to the house and the house itself. You don't have to find your clitoris. You have to be your clitoris. Be my clitoris. Be it. Be it. Be my clitoris." I lay back. Once again, I closed my eyes, I put down the hand mirror, and I could see myself floating above myself. I watched as I floated around and reapproached and began to re-enter. It was like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. I bounced and landed and bounced. It was a gentle and soft re-entry. And then suddenly, I came into my muscles, my blood, my cells, and suddenly I slid into my vagina. And I fit. And I was warm. And I said I was warm, and I was pulsing, and I was wet, and I was ready, and I was young, and I was alive. And then, without realizing it, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. And then that quivering turned to a quake, an eruption, and the layers began to divide and subdivide, and it opened into an ancient horizon of silence and light, opening onto a massive plain of music and colors and desire and longing. And I felt young, and I felt connection, calling connection to this body that was thrashing around on the floor on this little blue mat. My vagina is a flower, a shell, and a destiny. I am arriving just as I am beginning to leave. My vagina, me.
Here's a vagina happy fact. It is from Woman and Intimate Geography by Natalie Angers. The clitoris is pure in purpose. It is the only organ in the body that is designed purely for pleasure. Simply, it's a bundle of nerves, 8,000 nerve fibers to be precise. And that is more than anywhere in the male or the female body, including the fingertips, the lips, the tongue. And it is twice the number in the penis. Who needs a handgun when you've got a semi-automatic?
Hi. As part of Eve's work to include the voices of all women who face violence, she interviewed a diverse group of transgender women in preparation for creating this piece. Her idea to transform this wide range of experiences into a Greek chorus was an elegant way to give many voices a feeling of one voice united. Punishing the feminine was one of the overarching themes of the interviews, and this can take many forms. Some women in the transgender community face violence from a very early age because they're so feminine or because they show inappropriate interests in things considered feminine. For others, the violence comes later because they are not feminine enough. Those who do not pass gender muster often get pushed to the fringes of society, especially their youngest and most vulnerable. Yet they stay true to their hearts, despite every attempt to break their spirits. This monologue moves from childhood through adversity and into maturity, wisdom, and joy of affirming who they are. Women who face a difficult road just to claim that name. In the end, they endure, they survive, and they share in the pride of expressing femininity with all women in one voice united. They beat the girl out of my boy, or so they tried.
At 5 years old, I was changing my baby sister's diaper. I saw her vagina. I wanted one. I thought it would grow.
I thought I would open. I ached to belong. I ached to smell like my mother. Her sweet aroma lived on in my hair, in my skin, on my hands. I longed to be pretty. Pretty.
I wondered why my bathing suit top was missing at the beach, why I didn't look like the other girls. I ached to be complete. I ached to belong, to twirl the baton.
They assigned me a sex the day I was born. It's as random as being adopted or being assigned a hotel room on the 30th floor. It makes no difference who you are or your fear of heights. But in spite of the apparatus I was forced to carry around, I always knew I was a girl.
They beat me for it. They beat me for crying. They pummeled me for wanting.
To touch.
To pet.
To hug.
To help.
To hold their hands.
For trying to fly in church like Sister Betrell.
For doing cartwheels.
Crocheting socks.
For carrying purses to kindergarten.
They kicked the shit out of me every day on the way to school.
In the park, they smashed my magic marker painted nails.
They punched my lipsticked mouth.
They beat the girl out of my boy. Or so they tried.
So I went underground. I stopped playing the flute.
Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Go punch him back.
I grew a full beard.
It was good. I was big.
I joined the Marines. Suck it up and drive on.
I became duller.
Jaded.
Sometimes cruel.
Butch it.
Butch it. Butch it up.
Always clenched. Inaccurate. Incomplete.
So I ran away from home. From school.
From boot camp.
I ran to Maryland.
Greenwich Village.
Aleutian Islands.
New Orleans.
I found gay people.
Wilderness lesbians.
Got my first hormone shot. Got permission to be myself.
To transition, to travel, to immigrate. 350 hours of hot needles. I would count the male particles as they died. 16 man hairs gone.
The feminine is in your face. I raise my eyebrows more. I'm curious. I ask questions.
And my voice? Practice, practice. It's all about resonance. Sing song, sing song. Men are monotone and flat. Southern accents are really excellent. Jewish accents help. Hello, my friend.
And my vagina is so much more friendlier now. I cherish it. It brings me joy.
Orgasms come in waves. Before they were jerky.
I'm your girl next door.
My lieutenant colonel father ended up paying for it. My vagina.
My mother was worried what people would think of her, that she made this happen. Until I came to church and everyone said, "You have a beautiful daughter."
I got to be soft. I'm allowed to touch, allowed to give. I am able to receive.
To be in the present tense.
People are so much nicer to me now.
I can wake up in the morning and pull my hair into a ponytail.
A wrong was righted.
I am right with God.
It's like when you're trying to sleep and there's a really loud car alarm. When I got my vagina, it was like somebody finally shut it off.
I live now in the female zone. But you know how people feel about immigrants. They don't like it when you mix. They don't like it when you come from someplace else.
They killed my boyfriend. They beat him insanely while he slept with a baseball bat. They beat this girl out of his head.
They didn't want him dating a foreigner, even though she was pretty and she listened and was kind. They didn't want him falling in love with ambiguity. They were scared he'd get lost. They were that terrified of love.
This monologue was based on a woman who had a good experience with a man. Because he liked to look at it.
This is how I came to love my vagina. It's embarrassing because I know it's not politically correct. I mean, I know it should have happened in a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussy's your night! I know it all. Like, if we'd grown up in a culture where we were taught that fat thighs were beautiful, we'd all be pounding milkshakes and Timbits, spending our days lying on our backs, thigh expanding. We didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it once, and from then on, I wished I hadn't. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things, silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, place settings. I got so accustomed to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I'd picture him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript, and he wore khaki tan clothing. Bob did not eat spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He didn't talk about his inner feelings, didn't have any problems or issues. He wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change that I dropped on the deli floor. When he handed me back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally brushed against mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turns out, Bob loved vaginas. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. I'm right here. No, you. I need to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light. Okay, I'm ready. Ready to see you now. I'm right here. Still right here, Bob. Then he started to undress me. Bob, what are you doing? I need to see you. No. No need. Just do it. I need to see what you look like. But you've seen a red leather couch before. Bob continued. He would not stop. I wanted to throw up and die. Bob, this is awfully intimate. Can't we just, do it? No, it's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath. He looked, and he looked, and he looked. He got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You're so beautiful. You're elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that? There? It was like he'd read my palm. I saw that and more. Much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes, but he was In the light, I watched him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way Bob saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to feel proud. I began to swell. I began to love my vagina. And Bob, he just lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. We were gone.
Yep. This is a not so happy fact found in UNICEF's 2005 report, Female Genital Mutilation and Cutting, a Statistical Exploration. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 130 million girls and young women. In the 28 countries where it is practiced, mostly in Africa, about 3 million young girls a year can expect the knife or the razor or a glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In a man, it would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts to the urethra, the bladder, and the vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infections, increased agony and danger during childbirth, and death.
My vagina's angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina's furious, and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people out there trying to think up ways, trying to torture my poor ass, gentle, loving vagina, spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy. Vagina motherfuckers! Yeah. All this shit. They're constantly trying to shove up us, clean us up, stuff us up, make it go away. Well, my vagina's not going away. It's pissed off and it's staying right here. Like tampons. Yeah. What the hell is that? A wad of dry fucking cotton stuffed up there? Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says, forget it. It closes up. You need to work with a vagina. Introduce it to things. Prepare the way. That's what foreplay's about. You've got to convince my vagina. Seduce my vagina. Engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton. Stop shoving things up me. Stop shoving and stop cleaning it up. My vagina doesn't need to be cleaned up. It smells good already. Don't try to decorate. Don't believe him when he tells you that it smells like rose petals when it's supposed to smell like pussy. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to clean it up. Make it smell like a bathroom spray or a garden. All those douche sprays, floral, berry, rain. I don't want my pussy to smell like rain. All cleaned up like washing a fish after you cooked it. I want to taste the fish. That's why I ordered it. What the hell is that? There's gotta be a better way to do those exams. Why the scary paper dress that scratches your tits and crunches when you lie down so that you feel like a wad of paper somebody threw away? Why the rubber gloves and the flashlight all up in there like Nancy Drew working against gravity? Why the Nazi steel stirrups? The mean cold duck lips they shove inside you. What's that?
Hold still.
My vagina's angry about those visits. It gets defended weeks in advance. It won't go out of the house. And then you get there. Don't you hate that? Scooch down. It's your vagina. Why? So you can stick mean cold duck lips inside me? I don't think so. Why can't they find a nice, delicious piece of purple velvet and wrap it around me? Lay me down on some feathery cotton spread. Put on some nice, friendly pair of pink or blue gloves. Warm up the fucking duck lips. Work with my vagina. Oh, but no! More tortures. Dry wad of fucking cotton. Cold duck lips. And thumb underwear. Oh, that's the worst. Who thought that up? Moves around all the time. Gets stuck in the back of your crusty butt. Vagina's supposed to be loose and wide, not held together. That's why girdles are so bad. We need to move and spread and talk and talk. Vaginas need comfort. Yeah, make something like that. Something to give them pleasure. But no, of course they won't do that. Hate to see a woman having pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure. I mean, make a nice pair of soft cotton underwear with a French tickler built in it. Oh man, women would be coming all day long. Coming in the supermarket, coming on the subway, coming happy vaginas. They wouldn't be able to stand it. All those energized, not taking shit, hot, happy vaginas! If my vagina could talk, it would talk about itself like me. It would talk about other vaginas. It would do vagina impressions. It would wear Harry Winston diamonds. No clothing, just diamonds, all there, draped in diamonds. My vagina released a giant baby. In fact, two. It's not doing much of that anymore. It thought it would be. Now, it just wants to travel. It doesn't want a lot of company. It wants to read. And it wants to know things. It wants to get out more. It wants sex. It loves sex. It wants to go deeper. It's hungry for depth. It wants kindness. And it wants change. And it wants silence. and freedom and gentle kisses and warm liquids and deep touch. It wants chocolate. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to want. It wants my vagina. My vagina? Well, it wants everything.
Wow. What a show, huh? Can someone get me the cake? Who wants to eat my pussy? Can one of you get the cake?
This monologue is based on one woman's story. We do it tonight for that woman and for the extraordinary women of Bosnia and Kosovo. My vagina was my village.
My vagina was green water, soft pink fields, cow mooing, sun resting, sweet boyfriend lightly touching with soft piece of blonde straw.
There is something between my legs. I do not know what it is. I do not know where it is. I do not touch. Not now. Not anymore. Not since.
My vagina was chatty, can't wait so much saying words, talking, can't quit trying, can't quit saying, oh yes, oh yes.
Not since I dreamed there's a dead animal sewn in down there with thick, black fishing line, and the bad dead animal smell cannot be removed, and its throat is slit, and it bleeds through all my summer dresses.
My vagina singing all girl songs, all goat bell ringing songs, all wild autumn field songs, vagina home songs.
Not since the soldiers shoved a long, thick rifle inside me. So cold, the steel rod canceling my heart. Don't know if they're going to shoot it or shove it through my spinning brain. 6 of them, monstrous doctors with black masks, shoving bottles up me too. There were sticks and the end of a broom.
My vagina swimming river water, clean spilling water over sun-baked stones, over stone clit stones over and over.
Not since I heard the skin tear, it made lemon screeching sounds. And a piece of my vagina came off in my hand, a part of the lip. Now one side of the lip is completely gone.
My vagina, alive, wet water village. My vagina, my hometown.
Not since they took turns for 7 days, smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died, and the fish.
My vagina, a live wet water village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. I do not visit. I live someplace else now. I don't know where that is.
My short skirt is not an invitation, a provocation, or an indication that I want it, or give it, or that I hook. My short skirt is not begging for it. It does not want you to rip it off me or pull it down. My short skirt is not a legal reason for raping me. It may have been in the past, but it is not going to hold up in the new court. My short skirt, believe it or not, has nothing to do with you. My short skirt is about discovering the power of my lower calves, about cool autumn air traveling up my inner thighs, about allowing everything I see or feel or pass to live inside. My short skirt is not proof that I am stupid or undecided or a malleable little girl. My short skirt is my defiance. I will not let you make me afraid. My short skirt is not showing off. This is who I am before you made me cover it or tone it down. Get used to it. My short skirt is happiness. I can feel myself on the ground. I am here. I am hot. My short skirt is a liberation flag to the women's army. I declare these streets, any streets, my vagina's country. My short skirt is turquoise water with swimming colored fish, a summer festival in the starry dark, a bird calling, a train arriving in a foreign town. My short skirt is a wild spin, a full breath, a tango dip. My short skirt is initiation, appreciation, excitation. But mainly, my short skirt and everything under it is mine, mine, mine.
In hundreds of interviews with homeless women over the course of 13 years, only one woman was not sexually abused as a little girl or raped as a young woman. For most of these women, home is a very scary place, a place that they have fled. The shelters are, ironically, the first place of many that they have found safety, protection, and comfort. This is a story as this woman has told it. What isn't in the story is the fact that this woman met another woman in a shelter, they fell in love, and through their love, they both got out of the shelter system. The little coochie snorcher that could.
Memory, December 1965, 5 years old. My mama says to me in a scary, loud, life-threatening voice to stop scratching my coochie snorcher. I become terrified that I've scratched it off down there. I do not touch myself again, even in the bath. I imagine the water getting in and filling me up so I explode. I put Band-Aids over my coochie to cover the hole, but they fall off in the water. I imagine a stopper or a bathtub plug in me to prevent things from entering me. I wear 3 pairs of happy heart pattern cotton underpants underneath my snap-up pajamas. I still want to touch myself sometimes, but I don't. Memory, 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who is 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like he breaks my entire self. I limp home. I can't pee. When my mama asks me what's wrong with my coochie snorcher, I tell her what Edgar did to me. Never to let anyone touch me down there again. I try to explain to her, he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory, 9 years old. I play at home, jump on the bed, bouncing and falling, and impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital and they sew it up down there where it's been torn apart. Memory, 10 years old. I'm at my father's house and he's having a party upstairs and everyone's drinking. I'm playing alone in the basement and I'm trying on the new white cotton bra and underpants my father's girlfriend gave me. Suddenly, this big man, Alfred, comes up behind me. He's my father's best friend, pulls down my underpants and sticks his big hard penis into my coochie snorcher. I scream, I kick, I try to fight him off, but he already gets it in. My father's there then, he has a gun, and there's a loud, horrible noise, and then there's blood all over Alfred and me, lots of blood. I think my coochie snorcher has finally fallen out. Alfred is paralyzed for life, and my mama doesn't let me see my father for 7 years. Memory, 13 years old. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. It's a place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's bad luck zone. I picture a freeway going between my legs, and I am traveling, going far away from here. Memory, 16 years old. There's this gorgeous 24-year-old woman in my neighborhood, and I stare at her all the time. One day she invites me into her car, and she asks me if I like to kiss boys. I tell her I do not like that. Then she says she wants to show me something. She leans over. She kisses me so softly on the lips, with her lips, and then she sticks her tongue in my mouth. Ooh. Wow. She asks me if I want to come over to her house, and then she kisses me again, tells me to relax, to feel it. She asks my mama if I can stay the night, and my mama is thrilled that such a beautiful, successful woman has taken an interest in me. I'm scared, and I can't wait. Her apartment is fantastic. She's got it hooked up. It's the 70s with the beads, the mood lights, the fluffy pillows. I decide I want to be a secretary right there when I grow up. She makes herself a vodka and asks me what I want to drink. I say same as she's drinking. She says she doesn't think my mama would like me drinking vodka. I say I don't think my mom would like me kissing girls neither. She makes me a drink. Then she changes into this chocolate satin teddy. She is so beautiful. I always thought bull daggers were ugly. She says there's a picture over her bed of a naked black woman with a huge afro. I say, you look great. She says, so do you. I say, but all I have is this white cotton bra and underpants. And then she dresses me slowly in another satin teddy. It's lilac like the first soft days of spring. The alcohol has gone to my head and I am loose and ready. She lays me out on the bed, gently and slowly, and just our bodies rubbing together makes me come. Then she does everything to me in my coochie snorcher that I always thought was nasty before. I'm crazy wild, and she says, your vagina, untouched by man, is so nice, so fresh, I wish I could keep it that way forever. I get crazy wild and the phone rings, and of course it's my mama. I'm sure she knows. She catches me at everything. I'm out of breath and I try to act normal. I get on the phone. She says, what's the matter with you? Have you been running? I say, no, Mama. Exercising. Then she tells the beautiful secretary to make sure I'm not around any boys, and the lady says, trust me, there's no boys around here. Afterwards, the gorgeous lady teaches me everything about me and my coochie. She makes me play with myself in front of her and teaches me all the different ways to give myself pleasure. She said it's very important to know how to give myself pleasure so I never need to rely on a man. In the morning, I'm afraid I'm a butch because I'm so in love with her. She laughs, but I never see her again. Later, I realized that she was my surprising, unexpected, politically incorrect salvation. She transformed my sorry-ass coochie snorcher and raised it to a kind of heaven.
particular word, a pejorative word used to describe the vagina. Her mission was to reconceive the word.
I call it cunt. I have reclaimed it. Cunt. I really like it. Cunt. Just listen to it. Listen to it. Cunt. See, cackle, cavern, clit, cute. Closed, see, come, closed, inside, see, then you, then then inviting, curvy, sharkskin, you, then unicorn, under, up, urge, ugh, you, then N, then con, snug letters fitting perfectly together, N, nest, nexus, now, nice, N, a wicked, jagged, electrical pulse, N. N, then warm N, soft N, always deaf, always round and uppercase, N, cun, then T, sharp, tangy, T, certain T, tactile, texture, time, tendril, tight, tent. Did I say tantalizing? Tactile, T. Tell me. Say it. Cunt.
Say it again.
Cunt.
Everybody in the back, give me a C.
C.
Everybody in the front, give me a U.
U.
Give me that N.
N.
What about a T?
T.
What's that spell?
Cunt.
Say it.
Cunt.
A 6-year-old girl was asked, if your vagina got dressed, what would it wear?
I think red high tops and a Mets cap would work.
If your vagina could talk, what would it say?
Words that start with V and T, like violin and turtle.
And what does your vagina remind you of?
A pretty dark peach, or a jumper with treasure chest, and it's all mine.
And what's special about your vagina?
Somewhere deep inside has a really, really smart brain.
And what does it smell like?
Snowflakes.
Sex workers have a rich, compelling, complex relationship with their vagina. This particular woman blows my mind. She was a sex worker, but she only did sex work with women. She was the woman who loved to make vaginas happy.
I'm feeling the same way, baby.
Happy.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. Yeah. I didn't start out this way. No. I started out as a lawyer. Yeah. But in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It was a mission of sorts. I started getting involved in it. I got very good at it. Kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. I wore outrageous outfits when I dominated women. Leather and silk and lace. And I loved props. Handcuffs, rope, dildos. There was nothing like this in tax law. There were no props. And I hated those blue corporate suits. Although I do wear them now in my new line of work from time to time, and they serve quite nicely. There were no props, no delicious foreplay, no mysterious mouths, no wetness, no erect nipples. But mainly, there was no moaning. Not the kind I'm talking about anyway. You see, moaning was the thing that ultimately got me addicted to making women happy. When I was a little girl, I would see women making love in the movies, making these big orgasmic sounds, and I would laugh. I would get hysterical. I couldn't believe that women would make these big, wicked, crazy sounds. I wanted to become a moaner. So I practiced. I practiced in front of a mirror, on a tape recorder, moaning in various keys. But always, it sounded fake. You know why? 'Cause it was fake. It wasn't rooted in anything sexual, really. Just my desire to be sexual. But when I was 10, I had to pee really badly on a car trip once. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It went on for almost an hour. Ugh. And when I finally got to pee in this dirty little gas station, it was so exciting, I moaned. Me, moaning in this dirty little gas station in the middle of Louisiana. But I realized right then that moans are connected to not getting what you want right away. That they come from someplace deep inside that catches you by surprise. And then I became a moaner. It made most men anxious. Frankly, it terrified them. We couldn't make love in people's homes. The walls were too thin. I got a reputation in my building, and people stared at me with contempt in the elevator. I started to feel bad about my moans. I would make noise into a pillow or choke it back like a sneeze. I got stress-related disorders and headaches. I was becoming hopeless. Until I discovered women. You know what I discovered? Women loved my moaning. But more importantly, I loved when I was responsible for making other women moan. Yes. Sometimes I found it over a woman's jeans. Oh, I made love to quiet women who had never moaned before and never had an orgasm and found this place deep inside them, and it shocked them in their moaning. I made love to moaners and found a deeper, more penetrating moan. Sometimes I would sneak up on it, just off the record, disarming the surrounding alarms and moving in. Woo! Yeah. And sometimes I would just find it before things even got started. In the kitchen while we're eating salad or chicken, with my fingers. Like that. all mixed up with the balsamic vinegar. Oh, sometimes I used props. Did I mention I love props? Sometimes I make the woman find her moan in front of me. I wasn't fooled by the more obvious, regular moans. I'd wait for it, make her open herself up to me, until I found her deep within her power moan. Uh-oh. There's the clit moan. There's the vaginal moan. The combo clit vaginal moan. The almost moan. The right on it moan. The elegant moan. The Grace Slick moan.
Oh, baby, rock me.
The Wasp moan. The Jewish moan. The African American moan.
Oh, shit.
The Irish moan.
Forgive me.
The Minnesota moan.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, you betcha.
The mountaintop moan. The baby moan. The doggy moan. The uninhibited militant bisexual moan. I love that one too. The machine gun moan. Oh no. The tortured Zen moan. The collegiate moan.
Oh, I should be studying.
And the surprise triple orgasm moan. That's it. I'm so close. Yeah. Okay. All right.
born for some time without any mention of birth. This was a bizarre omission, but then again, a male journalist recently asked, what's the connection? Our author Eve Ensler was present for the birth of her granddaughter. She was in awe of vaginas before that moment. She is in deep worship now. I was there in the room.
You ready? I was there when her vagina opened. We all were. Her husband, her mother and I, and the nurse from the Ukraine, with her whole hand up there in her vagina, feeling and turning with her rubber glove as she chatted casually to us like she was turning on a loaded faucet. I was there when the contractions made her crawl on all fours, made unfamiliar moans leak from her pores, and still there, after hours, when she just screamed suddenly wild, her arms striking out at the electric air. I was there when her vagina changed from a shy sexual hole to an archaeological tunnel, a sacred vessel, a Venetian canal, a deep well with a tiny stuck child inside waiting to be rescued. I saw the colors of her vagina. They changed. I saw the bruised, broken blue, the blistering tomato red, the gray pink, the dark. I saw the blood like perspiration around the edges, the yellow-white liquid, the shit, the clots, pushing out all the holes, pushing harder and harder. I saw through the hole the baby's head, scratches of black hair, just there behind the bone, like a hard round memory, while the nurse from the Ukraine kept turning and turning her slippery hand. I was there when each of us, her mother and I, held a leg and spread her wide, pushing with all our strength against her pushing as her husband was sternly counting 1, 2, 3, telling her to focus harder. We looked into her then. We couldn't get our eyes out of that place. We forget the vagina, each of us. What else would explain our lack of reverence, our lack of awe? I was there when the doctor reached in with Alice in Wonderland spoons, and her vagina became a wide, operatic mouth, singing with all its strength. First the tiny head, then the gray flopping arm, then the fast swimming body swimming quickly into our weeping arms. I was there later when I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see her completely spread, completely exposed, mutilated, swollen and torn, bleeding all over the doctor's hands as he calmly sewed her there. I stood and her vagina suddenly became a wide, red, pulsing heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart can forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in, and it can expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and stretch for us. It can die for us and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there in the room. I remember.
My revolution begins in my body. It isn't waiting anymore.
My revolution does not need your approval or your permission. My revolution happens because it has to happen. In every gathering of tribes, in every neighborhood, city, village, in town, in groups of students, in women at the markets, on the bus.
It may be gradual and soft. It may be spontaneous and loud.
It may be happening already. It may be found in your closet, in your drawers, in your guts, in your legs, in your multiplying cells, in the naked mouths of taut nipples and overflowing breasts.
My revolution is swelling from the insatiable drumming between my legs. My revolution is willing to die for this.
My revolution is ready to live big. My revolution is overthrowing the state of mind called patriarchy.
My revolution is not choreographed, although it begins with a few familiar steps. My revolution is not violent, but it does not shy away from the dangerous edges where fierce displays of resistance tumble into something new.
My revolution is in this body, in these hips atrophied by misogyny.
In this jaw wired mute by hunger and atrocity, my revolution is connection, not consumption.
Passion, not profit. Orgasm, not ownership.
My revolution is of the earth and will come for her, because of her.
It understands that every time we frack or drill or burn or destroy the layers of our sacredness, we violate the soul of our future.
My revolution is not afraid to lay myself down in front of
Banyan, cypress, oak, willow, sycamore trees.
It bows shamelessly to shucking yellow birds and rose blue skies, exploding heart, purple bougainvillea, and aqua sea.
My revolution bows at the feet of mothers and nurses and servers and nannies and caretakers and healers and all those that are life and give life.
My revolution is on its knees, on my knees to every holy thing.
And all those who carry empire-made burdens in and on their heads and backs and hearts.
My revolution demands abandon, expects the original.
Relies on troublemakers, poets, shamans, seers, sexual explorers, mystic travelers, tightrope walkers, and those who go too far and feel too much.
My revolution shows up unexpectedly. It's not naive, but it believes in miracles.
Cannot be categorized, targeted, branded, or even located.
Offers prophecy, not prescription. Is determined by mystery and ecstatic joy. Requires listening.
Is not centralized, though we all know where we're going. It happens in stages and all at once.
It happens where you live and everywhere. It understands that divisions are diversions.
Sitting quietly, staring deep into my eyes. Go ahead, love.